everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then welcome. I'm so glad to have you. As you can see from the title, I am back again with my Total Drama Island Sims. This is actually my last household in the set, so after this I just have some building left to do in the save, and then I will finally be able to start a Let's Play with these Sims. So that's really exciting. With this household, unfortunately something happened with my screen recording app, so I don't actually have the process of me putting together Ava like I do with Katie and Sadie, so I just have an outfit tour for you guys instead. So for Ava, I wanted to keep everything kind of simple and sort of butch. I went with a dark blue, black, and white color scheme just to keep things simple as I was picking out each of her outfits. Like I said, I wanted to keep things relatively masculine and kind of athletic looking, just to keep with her vibe. And obviously my headcanons of how I think she would dress in each of the various situations that we have outfits for. And for her traits, I ended up going with hot-headed, active, and bro with the bodybuilder aspiration because, I don't know, it just made sense. And here is a close-up of her face so that you can see I included her beauty mark and also some creases on her forehead because in the show she kind of always has her brow furrowed and she's got a little crease, so that's as close as I could get it. And then next I did Katie, and if you noticed in that little flash of Eva that you had before I switched over to working on Katie, her skin tone is really fair, but I ended up going and changing it in the middle of working on Katie. And for Katie, I went with the friend of the world aspiration, the loyal trait, outgoing, and cheerful, just because those all seemed really fitting to me, and they will also make the friend of the world aspiration really easy. So eventually when I play in this save, it will be very easy to complete her aspiration. And these pigtails that I used for her that have the little bangs, I didn't end up keeping those in the end. I ended up switching to the base game pigtails that are in the afro hair texture, just because these ones are cute, but in the show she doesn't have bangs, and for some reason I just couldn't find the base game ones. I'm pretty sure I scrolled right past them when I was picking her hair, but the ones without the bangs are more similar to the pigtails that Sadie has anyway, so I don't know, it made more sense for me to use the base game ones, even though these ones from Growing Together are really cute. And for her face, I started out with a base template and just sort of went from there. The template that I picked I felt was really similar to the way that she looks, and I just sort of went and tweaked some things, mostly just her eyebrows and her overall nose and mouth shape, if that makes sense, just to keep it more accurate to the way that she looks in the show. And this might not be my most accurate total drama sim, but I do think that it captures her character really well, even if it's not, one-to-one. I've said it before in the past that it's kind of challenging to make a cartoon character into a sim because I'm sort of fusing these two cartoony styles that are really different. And Total Drama Island specifically has such a distinct art style. And it is kind of a challenge too to make all of the cast and keep them all looking distinct from each other, because in the show a lot of the girls end up looking the same. Their silhouettes are all really similar. Their head shapes are the same. Their bodies are all the same. And a lot of their facial features are the same too. But it's important when I'm doing this that they all look different from each other, and also the way that the sim looks captures the character's vibe and aesthetic, because that's what's going to set them apart from everybody else. Her eyebrows, like I said, I adjusted them to sort of be upturned because on the show she's always smiling and it just makes her look more approachable. Her nose, I did make it kind of small and I pointed it just to make it more similar to how she looks on the show. And then she does wear these black stud earrings on the show. They're really small, but they are there. And along with her earrings and her clothes and everything, her makeup and it's all things that I know Sadie will also have to wear, basically. And so I wasn't necessarily picking things based on how good they look on Katie individually, but also how well I think they'll work with Sadie as well. And I never use this MAC lipstick because it's like super shiny and weird, but I did adjust the shade of it a little bit and I think it actually worked out pretty well. Her whole aesthetic, and Sadie's too, obviously, is very like Barbie to me, and so I was very much living my like hot pink fantasy while I was putting together her wardrobe. I did adjust her body shape a little bit, nothing too crazy, just to make it a little bit more accurate to her design in the show. And then when I was picking out her shirt, I scrolled past a lot of shirts that have horizontal stripes on them, because if you don't know, her character on the show wears like a black and white striped cropped t-shirt. And you know, it's a good t-shirt. I like it a lot, but I don't have one in my game that's like that. Of all of the black and white t-shirts that I have, none of them are cropped. And even though the stripes are kind of an important part of her character design, I felt like the cropped nature of the shirt was more important, just because the silhouette kind of relies on that sort of shape, if that makes sense. And eventually I ended up going with a cropped blouse that has two different swatches that I could use. So like basically I could use a black swatch on Katie, and then I could use a white one on Sadie. And that's one of the only differences between their two outfits, is that their everyday has a different shirt. It's the same shirt, but they're in different colors. And I did keep basically all of their other outfits identical. There is one other difference, which is that their pajamas are slightly different. You'll see when I get there, but they're sort of like the same, but like opposite, if that makes sense. And yeah, see, I'm scrolling through the whole catalog trying to find a different shirt to use, but I mean, ultimately the one that she has on is the one that I went with. It just seemed like it worked the best. And then for her shorts in the show, she wears like pink denim shorts, and I was trying to find a pair of pink denim shorts that worked in the game. There's like a few different ones, but the fact that they were denim felt more important to me than that they were pink, if that makes sense. And so those like tweed ones are kind of the right color, but they're not denim, they're tweed. And so it just didn't work for me. And these ones from Seasons are also probably not actually supposed to be denim, but the color and the like shape of them worked better for me than the other ones did. And certainly better than the ones from Outdoor Retreat. And then for her formal outfit, I kept her makeup the same throughout each of the outfits, because again, I'm emulating a cartoon character, and realistically they aren't gonna do different makeup for her for each instance that she has on the show. I did use some different earrings just to keep things a little bit, I don't know, novel, I guess. And I had to go through and make sure that she had earrings and makeup on for each of the outfits, because again, like, she's a cartoon character. She's gonna look basically the same in every situation she's in. I did have it so that she doesn't wear makeup while she's sleeping or working out, though, because that's just like that's just like a thing that I do when I'm playing The Sims, is like, I don't wear makeup while I sleep or when I exercise, so why should my Sims? And I didn't put makeup on them for their swimwear either, but I did include their earrings. Just because, like, her ears are still pierced even if she's at the pool, you know? And I did leave that necklace on her for her hot weather, just because it's like the heart-shaped one, and I thought like, oh wait, that would be cute for her and Sadie to both wear a heart-shaped necklace occasionally, because they're like besties, you know? It's like those little best friend necklaces that you get from Claire's, and you like keep one half and you give the other half to your best friend, that sort of thing. And for cold weather, again, everything is the same, which I did hesitate to do, because a lot of the time in my cold weather outfits I'll do like a darker lipstick and maybe like a darker eye makeup, because I don't know if I'm like the only person who does this, but I always find myself gravitating to darker shades when it's colder out, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that does that, but I don't know, I second guessed myself and just ended up keeping the makeup the same throughout each of her outfits instead, and maybe that was supposed to be a time-saving thing on my part, I don't know. For her formal wear, I did go with that pink and white mini dress, again, something that I think will work for both her and Sadie. And then while I was working on that, I realized like, oh, I should totally have her nails painted, because like she's a nail painted kind of girly, you know what I mean? And so I went with these French tips, again, something that'll work for both her and Sadie, and I wanted to do a shade that was kind of natural for each of their skin tones, and the French tips fortunately have a pretty wide range of shades, so that was easy enough to do. And yeah, I didn't want them to have any like bracelets or rings on. That's sort of like a nitpick on my part, but it's just the way that it is. And for the workout outfits, you'll see when I work on Sadie, she does automatically generate with the pink tracksuit. And I did think about doing that for them because I do think that it's like accurate for the time period that the show was on, but also, I kind of wanted to have them look a little bit more modern. I've sort of done that a few times where it's like, okay, I want to keep the essence of the show, but I also want the Sims to like look cute. You know what I mean? So I ended up going with like a cropped hoodie and matching sweats instead. And here are the pajamas that I was talking about, where I went with like a hoodie and shorts, which I don't think you actually see their pajamas on the show ever. Some of the characters you do and some of them you don't. And I can't remember if they ever show them in their pajamas or not. But I went with that black hoodie and the pink shorts for Katie. And then on Sadie, I did the opposite, where I did a pink hoodie and black shorts. So it's kind of like they got two sets of pajamas and they like swapped tops, you know what I mean? So they're like still matchy, but they're like sharing pajamas, that sort of thing. And then for the party outfit, I wanted to do something a little bit different. Rather than shorts, I went with a denim skirt. And rather than like a fully cropped shirt, we went with like kind of a longer cropped t-shirt, if that makes sense, just to mix it up. And then sneakers and high socks, just again for a little bit of versatility. And then for swimsuits, obviously I had to go with a hot pink bikini. Again, we're living our Barbie fantasy, okay? And it'll look good on both of them. Again, like that was one of the most important parts of picking out these outfits, is knowing that like the besties have to match. They have to match. For hot weather, I almost put her in a romper, and then I thought, well, I don't know if it's going to look as good on Sadie as it does on Katie, and even if it does, I didn't really like any of those pinks. Like, the swatches just weren't doing it for me. And so I ended up going with this hot pink sundress instead. And it's partially because I wanted it to match the shoes, because that other light pink one, it was cute, but it wasn't quite the right color for me. And then for cold weather, I went with a quilted jacket. I almost went with this one from Cottage Living, but I didn't really like the way that the pink looked, so I went with this one from Seasons instead, because it's just a more bubblegummy, you know, Barbie pink, rather than like a muted, dustier kind of pink. And then for boots, I almost went with these ones from Get Together. The ones from Laundry Day were a close second. The ones from Get Together, they really seemed like they were going to work for me, but I scrolled and I realized, like, wait, the Ugg boots are the obvious choice. And so I ended up going with the pink Ugg boots instead, just because, like, if you know a girl who wears Ugg boots, you know what I'm talking about. It just makes sense for both Katie and Sadie. And right, there she is, all finished, and I ended up giving her this cat tattoo at the last minute, because I had the thought of like, oh, I should give her the cat and I can give Sadie the dog. And, you know, usually when I give Sims those matching tattoos, it's because they're like twins. A lot of the identical twins in the save that I play for fun, I give one the cat and the other one the dog. But with these two, I mean, it just made sense, even though they're not sisters, you know? Sadie, I gave the soulmate aspiration, and then I ended up giving her some similar traits to Katie, but not quite the same. So I gave her the loyal trait, and then I gave her the cheerful and childish trait is the one that is different. I ended up going with the soulmate aspiration rather than the friend of the world one, because, you know, her and Katie are really similar. They're almost identical, right? But they're not quite the same person. And I do think that it'll be more fun to play in the save if they have different aspirations. And I also have this sort of plan to have Sadie kind of like date around and just never really have very good luck until she finds like the one, you know what I mean? And I don't know, I think that'll be a really fun way to play her. And yeah, there I am switching Katie's hair to the other pigtails so that they're a little bit more similar to Sadie's. And as far as Sadie's face goes, I did a lot more tweaking to her than I did to Katie. just trying to get her eyebrows and her jaw and her cheeks right. I think that Sadie's a really cute character. I really like her face design on the show. I think her little nose is just the cutest thing. And so I really wanted to capture that. And I wanted to capture just like, I don't know, how cute she is and how sweet she is. I really, really like Katie and Sadie. They're some of my favorite characters from the show, actually. And yeah, there I am trying to figure out her nose because, like I said, her little like button nose is one of the more distinct parts of the way that she looks. And so I wanted to find a nose that I could sort of get the right tilt and angle on, as well as like the length, because her nose is also like really short. And so there you go. This is where I realized, oh, she kind of looks like Bjork. Like, that's fine. I think Bjork's cute, but it was really unintentional. I did not mean to do that. And after I adjusted her lips, I made sure that she has kind of a slight smile as well, because Katie kind of has the same thing going on. And again, she just looks so much like Bjork, it's ridiculous. And I tilted her ears the same way because she kind of has the same thing that Katie has going on, where the tops of her ears are flat on the show. And again, you can't really do that in The Sims, but by adjusting the angle that they sit, you can kind of emulate that. She doesn't really have much of a chin, so I kind of sucked it in. And I know that's kind of a thing in The Sims, where it's like if you play for enough generations, your Sims end up not having chins. So maybe I'm doing her bloodline dirty. I don't know. I don't know how long I'll end up playing the save, so it might not ever be an issue that I actually have to deal with. And again, her jaw and her cheeks were a little bit difficult for me because she's got a really round face, right? She's a heavy girl. But in The Sims, it's harder to do that, basically. Like, you can adjust the body shape that people have, but adjusting the face shape to kind of match the body shape doesn't always work very well. But I did my best to kind of keep it balanced. And yeah, like I said before, her makeup, her earrings, everything is the exact same that Katie has. So I just went in and really quickly selected all the same things that Katie had, adjusting, of course, some of the swatches that are different. And yeah, like I said, I gave her the dog tattoo. I did remember to adjust her body shape a little bit at this point because I had kind of forgotten. I had to make sure that her legs were proportionate to her upper body, and I had to make sure that her shoulders were broader because she does kind of have broader shoulders on the show. And something I was thinking about while I was putting her together was that, like, wow, she really has one of the more distinct silhouettes of some of the female characters on the show, because we don't really have any thicker girls on the original Total Drama. There's Sadie and there's Lashana, and that's it. They're both really good characters. I enjoy them both. It makes me sad that they're the only two thick girls that we get, because again, all the girls end up looking the same. You know, if I blacked out all of their appearances and just showed you the silhouettes, it would be pretty difficult to suss out who's who. If you're like really into Total Drama, you'd probably be able to do it. And if you know of their more like distinct traits, like maybe their hair, you might be able to do it. But I think after a while, you'll get down to it and there's going to be like 2 or 3 left. And you're like, I actually can't tell who's who. And to me, like, as much as I love the show, that means that the character design is not as strong as it could be. You know what I mean? So I do think that Sadie benefits actually from being one of the heavier girls because she's more distinct. You can identify her in a lineup. And again, I just love her face. Everything about her is just so cute. For her workout outfit, you see the tracksuit. That was what made me think, like, oh, maybe I should do tracksuits for these guys. And then, like I said, I didn't do it, but I did think about it. So if you think that they should have been in tracksuits, I understand. I also thought that for a second, you know what I mean? And yeah, the rest of this video is basically just me making sure that all of her everything is the same as Katie's. So I don't really have much more to say about it other than, I don't know, I'm really excited to play in this save. I think that it's going to be really fun. I do have a lot more houses to build in it though. So I last week posted up the first half of Duncan and Courtney's house, and after this video goes up, so next Saturday is when I'm gonna do the second half of that build. So I'll finish off that lot, like with all the landscaping and whatnot. And then after that, I have to build a house for the like girly house, which is like Gwen, Lashana, Izzy, Bridget, and I think Jeff. And then after that, I have to do the like boys household, which is like DJ, Owen, Trent. And then obviously I'm going to have to build a house for these 3 ladies as well, which I'm kind of already brainstorming. I think I want Katie and Sadie to share a bedroom. I think that would be really cute. I'm thinking sort of like, you know, when like twin girls are young and they have to share a room, and like the rooms are like, the 2 halves of the room are like basically identical. But maybe there's like some slight differences. I kind of want to do that, like a really like pink Barbie kind of fantasy room, with maybe some like slight variations on either side. I don't know. I just think that would be really cute. And again, if I play in the save, that might not be how they live for the whole time that I'm playing, but I think that would be a cute way to start out, and I think it would be really fun to build. So there's that. And you know, honestly, I might do their house before I do the others, just because I don't really have ideas for the other houses. Like, I've been thinking about this, like, I'm not sure what style I'm even going to do for like the house of like, you know, all the girls. I'm trying to keep houses that are next to each other in the neighborhood kind of similar, in like the exterior style wise. So the house that I build for the boys, I'm building a new crest in all of these households, and the one for the boys, you know, DJ, Owen, Trent, it's near the house that I built for Heather, Bridget, or no, not Bridget, Heather, Lindsay, and Beth. And it's sort of like a California suburban style, kind of like a deserty sort of style house. And so all like those houses that are in that area, I kind of have already like decided what the exterior style is going to be because I built that house first. But the other household, with, yeah, like Gwen, Lashana, Izzy, they don't really have the benefit of being near any other houses that I've already built. And so I'm not sure what style I'm going to go with. I don't know. I'm sure I'll be able to find something if I just look for some reference photos. Oh yeah, and for Sadie's cold weather, I almost went with the black swatch on this quilted jacket, but I changed my mind and I went with the pink one instead so that her and Katie can match. I was thinking about maybe doing something similar like I did with their like everyday, where it's like one has one swatch and the other has another, but whatever. And yeah, here are all 3 of them. Their household name is a joke. It's a joke. Okay? I don't think they'll actually be a throuple. It's a joke. Anyways, that is all that I have for you guys. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Give this video a like if you liked it. Feel free to follow me on my Instagram if you so choose. Subscribe to me here. Subscribe to my essay channel. And I will see you guys next week. Bye!